This car is not for me. This is a 2011 Ford Fiesta. Cool car. Unfortunately not an ST, just a base model. I am buying it and selling it. What I want to do is I want to just clean it up, make it look presentable, give you a little before and after what I'm going to do with it. Then I'm going to post it for sale and see if I can get more money than what I bought it for. I bought this for $2,800. It's got like 100,000 miles on the clock, which isn't bad at all. The car's from Florida, so it had no front plate or anything like that. It's got scuff marks on it. Clean up the tires, see what I can do with this. Fucking broken. There's just a couple of things that's wrong with it. It needs a shock in the rear right. Look at this. This is pretty dang good. How's that? Better? It looks the same. I don't know. I gotta figure out this camera. This camera kind of sucks. The interior is in good shape. Take my word for it. I'm gonna see what I can do to clean this car up. Then I'm gonna post it, and let's see how much I can make off of it. First thing I'm gonna do is focus on these headlights right here because these just look awful. I'm gonna buff them, and I'm gonna give them a little bit of a polish and see how they come out. As you can see, this headlight is way clearer than the other one. It does have clear coat imperfections. The clear coat is peeling on that side, so it's not going to look as good. This side is very foggy and has like the same kind of clear coat damage, but buffing it and giving it a little kind of a polish will just make them kind of pop and make them really clear again. That's as good as I'm gonna get it. These headlights would need a complete recoat. The clear coat is just like too faded. Like I'm pretty much buffing and polishing nothing. So I'm just gonna focus on cleaning it up right now. Cleaning up these leaves, I'm gonna clean up the interior next. Then I'm going to focus on getting this rear bumper put back on to make it look somewhat presentable. Then I'm gonna do a little bit of a quick polish on the car, some Meguiar's quick polish and wax, and then we will take some pictures of it and send it on its way. Really good. I'm gonna take some pictures of it, post it, and see what people are willing to offer. Alright, so pictures of the car are taken. I'm gonna pull it out back, pull my Mustang in. I want to do some work on that car. I just gotta do some buttoning up on it. I'll show you guys what I mean when I get in here. First thing I gotta do is I gotta change these freaking wiper blades. Okay, those are really on there. Let me figure out how to get these off. So I installed this new balance piece right here. Fitment, completely terrible. God awful. Terrible putting it on. Wiper arms. Apparently textured bedliner paint does not stick. It just rubs right off. So that sucks. Like it doesn't stick on at all. I, for now, am just going to leave them. I'm gonna go to a junkyard and pick up a set. I fixed the rear part of my exhaust that was making noise. But I took it to a muffler shop and they put a sleeve on it, and now the exhaust hits a little bit of my frame. So there's just a whole lot of crap going on. Like I fix one problem and another problem comes up, but That's cars. Look at what I did. Bam, crank pulley is off. Now, let me show you my methods of taking it off. Yes, I made my own crank pulley puller thing. In order to perfect the design, I would have had to make this out of steel. I did not have steel. I had aluminum, which I knew was going to bend, but I also knew that I just needed it for a one-time use. So I got that frickin' thing out. Holy crap. I'm coming way farther than I expected. Now I'm going to start taking apart this like lower timing cover, and then I will get to the crap behind there, and then finally we can disassemble the bottom end. Unfortunately, I do not have the keyway for this. The keyway broke off, so I'm going to have to get another keyway for this crank pulley. Oh! Don't laugh. Do not laugh at me. Well, I'm going to need a new timing gear because I freaking destroyed this one. Well, this timing belt's junk. I got another one though, so. Actually, the timing gear itself is fine. It's just this little, I guess it's like a retainer plate that goes over it. So I need this. I'm going to save this to see what it looks like, and then I finally took the bottom end apart. So, one of these days, I would like to take these parts, put them in the back of my dad's truck, take them home, and foam gun them and clean them up as best as I possibly can. I don't know if you can use soap, because then the soapiness, or if you don't wash all of it off, it may stick to your engine and cause problems. And you don't want slipping bearings and stuff like that. But using pressurized water is okay. I'm still going to take that oil filter off. And then after I do that, so I'm just going to pressure wash it at home and bring all the parts back. So these are the bearings in my engine. These are the main bearings for the crankshaft. Not actually sure what this one is. This one might be for the end of the crankshaft for the oil pump. Like the snout of the crankshaft, not too sure. So let me wipe these down really quick. Some of them are worn. Like idling worn, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. See how the inner part of this bearing is shiny and the rest of it has like a bearing material film? That usually happens when you idle your engine a lot. It creates a lot of wear on the center point of the bearing, because when it's wearing, the weight of it kind of sits mostly at the bottom of the bearing, and when the crankshaft is spinning and the higher it revs and spins, it's not just sitting on the bottom of this bearing, which eventually in turn creates a flat spot in the bearing that could be detrimental to your motor. Yes, that mark is there, but it's really just polished the surface. It didn't really leave any form of groove or anything like that in your bearing. This is actually in very good condition. There's not much wrong with it. Yes, it is still smooth. This is an average worn bearing. There's nothing really wrong with it. This is how a bearing usually looks when it's averagely worn. Now, I could take this bearing, and I could take all these bearings, and just slap this motor back together. I could take the old pistons and the old rings, and those bearings that are on the caps that go on your pistons, on your connecting rod caps, I could use those bearings. I could still use the regular piston bearings. I could still use these main bearings. The thrust washers that I have for the crank, I could still use that too. There are a lot of things that I can still use. The only thing is do I want to just throw these bearings back in? I could buy a rebuild kit for this engine. Gaskets, pistons and rings, everything except valves and top end stuff, I could buy for like $250 to $300. Or I could stick with what I have because there was nothing really wrong with it. There was probably just gaskets that leaked and caused vacuum leaks, which caused the motor to run like crap. I could just throw the motor back together with the parts that I have now that I know it ran fine with, and I can kind of just clean it up, clean up the piston rings, clean up all the carbon, throw it back together, and possibly save a couple bucks in the process. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you think that I should rebuild the engine as cheaply as possible by using the same parts, the same bearings, and get like a gasket kit instead and just re-gasket the engine? Or do you think I should do a full rebuild, like new bearings, new pistons, You don't usually need new connecting rods and new pistons, but you know, typically if you're rebuilding an engine, getting a new set of piston rings would be good. Honing the motor would be good. I just want to thank everyone for watching, and next time I will catch you guys. I'll probably be doing something with the Celica engine or cleaning the parts on the Celica engine, not too sure, but peace.